Good evening and welcome to Loud or Nerdy on a Tuesday night. My name is JW Colwell. I am your host. My co-host, one of my co-hosts is here. One may show up late. We don't know. We'll have to see. Kyle Defina is not here, but Jerry Kamora is here. Jerry, how you doing?
I'm doing
Let's
well.
talk for a moment before we talk about liking and subscribing if you like our vibe, which I think is perfect. I think we should also talk, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, all those different places where you can catch all our stuff. Everywhere. But the interesting thing is, I want to talk a little bit about what you were talking about before we came on, right?
Yep.
That you come down and you practice in your basement a lot of the time, right? Because it's away from your kids. They can get to bed. You can come down and you can jam out and like write some stuff and whatever. But talk a little bit about what you do on Tuesday nights. Like you come down and it feels like it's more creative, right?
Yeah. Well, but I come down like a half hour before and because I got to get my movie ready and all that. So I sit down and jam, and I usually write stuff on Tuesdays. It's interesting.
So, and it's interesting. So, cool. but it's part of our mission statement and part of our goal. And one of the things we got going on right now is we're actively outsourcing and talking to people and figuring things out. If you have something creative that you're working on that you want to promote or con, or you want to promote a short film, or you want to promote anything, drop us a line somewhere, either at the Instagram or the Facebook page, or, on YouTube. Try to get in contact with any one of us from the network, either, myself or Jerry or Kyle. And we will try to give you a venue where you can talk about your stuff for a few minutes. Yep. It doesn't have to be long, but hearing people talk about your stuff, or you talking about your stuff and just trying to get your stuff out there, is one of the vanguards of our network. Is all I'm saying. And like Jerry,
don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
And Jerry coming down and being more creative and doing whatever on a Tuesday night, making Tuesday nights loud and nerdy is cool, but it's also fun in the sense, we'd love to help you promote your stuff, and we'd like to talk to you. It may not be the biggest venue that you talk on, but we will take your stuff seriously. Maybe when other people
word out, why not?
So I have to do comments as Kyle shirking his responsibilities. Joe Ridgely, good evening all. Good evening, Joe.
Joe.
Ken McKernan, the lifeblood and soul, the soul of the Indie Escape Network. He puts up more stuff than I do. I appreciate him so much. There's so many trailers. I appreciate him every day.
I find out a lot of stuff from him.
Superman versus Freddy shirts. Yeah, I mean, it's the movie we never got. Evening Boys, Hi Raven, and Lizzie Kitty Merricks. Hello to everyone. Hello to Lizzie Kitty. I want to start off with something sad that we do have to talk about, get it out of the way. Well, two the sad things, actually. So there were two, deaths this week that are not great if you're fans of, like, television comedy. So, I mean, we lost Loretta Swift. She was, of course, Hot Lips O'Houlihan on MASH. She won 2 Emmys. She passed away. And, she was known for that show. That show was one of the most watched shows in the history of television, right? And, we lost her this week, and it's, it's sad and it's tragic, and, and we just want to, like, celebrate somebody that made people happy, right? They every week she would go out, and every week she would come up with a way to make you laugh. And, when in a time when there were only 3 networks as opposed to 150 networks, she was a staple. She was always getting made fun of by Hawkeye, and I want to, wish her the best and rest in peace, and thanks for all the laughs. Now, the other death is not so great, right? We lost Jonathan Joss. He was a voice actor on King of the Hill. He was on Parks and Rec. He was on he was in a lot of shows. A very funny actor, and he basically was murdered. Like, everybody's talking about it, and it's like this weird thing where he went back with his husband to a place where they had burned down his house, and he was picking up the mail, and there's all kinds of weird stuff. Now, they have not ruled it a hate crime, but he got shot at a former house picking up mail. And it's just like one of those things where you're like,
strange.
It's bizarre. And it's just like
somebody had, if that's what really, really happened, somebody had to know you were going there.
Well, I don't know. They're all right. There are all kinds of reports. Basically, they had reported at some point that there were arson threats, and there are so many stories going on about this. But it appears from the outside that the people in this area did not like him and his husband. And then he went back, and they found the remains of their dog that was basically burned in the house fire that was put on the mailbox.
Sounds like a Fear Thy Neighbor episode.
Yeah, it sounds like a terrible. Hello, Lizzie Kitty. It sounds like a terrible thing, and he had just been announced for the revival of King of the Hill. And so it's just this weird story that seems like could be a hate crime, but they're not looking at it that way, and we don't know what's going to happen. And they already arrested the guy that shot him. You know what I mean? And then the killer already confessed. So, it's not like I don't know. I think it's like we're in this world right now where we have all these people, and everybody's fighting every 5 minutes. And I think we need to take the temperature down. I don't know that it's feasible at this point.
Yeah,
but
social media fuels a lot of that fire. I think
it does.
Back in the day, we would have been oblivious to a lot of stuff, right?
And
we didn't have it at our fingertips.
Well, we
watched Peter Jennings on the news once in a while, and that was our world news tonight.
Yeah, CNN on occasion. You know what I mean?
That was it.
But this is him. I wanted to celebrate him a little bit because he made me laugh on King of the Hill. He made me laugh on Parks and Rec. He was a good voice actor. He's been in a lot of video games. Done a lot of work. And if it was a hate crime, I just want people to know that, I stand with people that are LGBTQ. I'm okay with them. I don't want you guys, I don't want people killed for who they love. Love is love. So just stop doing it. Stop fucking fighting. Everybody, stop fucking fighting. Now, I wish rest in peace to him, even though I don't know how you could possibly rest in peace if everything comes to light the way it does. So we were fighting last week, and Kyle's not here. I wish Kyle were here because I really want to.
Karate Kid.
I really want to talk about this. I mean, I hate being right. I hate being right, Jerry.
Yeah, we both kind of figured it would fall where it did, right?
Yeah, I mean,
if it was Cobra Kai, maybe it would have had more.
I'll tell you what, I was so happy with my mini review. I think my mini review nails it, so I'm gonna read it verbatim just so everybody has an idea of where I'm at on this movie. And the thing is, I don't hate the movie. I don't hate it. I just here's what I wrote in my mini review, and I just kind of it is exactly how I feel, and I think it's one of those things where where I can't really change how I feel. You know what I mean? Like I just think it's right on where exactly where you know what I mean? I just feel like I have it right where I want it. So I'm trying to find it because I can't find it because I don't write it down.
Buying yourself time. You're like,
I'm buying myself time. I tell you. It's just there's so much crap on my thing. So here's what I wrote, and this is what it's scant 94-minute running time, leaves very little time to get emotionally invested in the characters. All true. It is, however, fun and breezy with a breakout performance from Ben Wang. The kid's really good. He plays Lee. He, though, has the task of carrying the movie for just over 50 minutes before the legends arrive. Jackie Chan has way more to do than Ralph Macchio, and when you put Jackie Chan next to Ralph Macchio, that doesn't help Ralph Macchio at all.
No.
It really doesn't.
More iconic.
Because, and Jackie Chan is charismatic. Ralph Macchio is a good actor, but he's never been accused of being charisma. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so at times his natural charisma overshadows the original Karate Kid. There's very little mention of Cobra Kai except for a brief, hilarious cameo during the end credits. That's it. One cameo near the end. First hour is almost a bait and switch. Very little of the legends at all. I would argue with anybody that there's no way you could have guessed who would be training in the first hour of this movie. Not only could you not guess who would be training, you couldn't guess who would be training them, and you also couldn't guess what the event is they were training for. I guarantee before you go in, you're never going to get it. And then it becomes just like a series of 80s montages with large graphics on the screen to show time passing, which is kind of lazy, which I didn't like. But it does know the beats of a Karate Kid movie, and it hits them. But because you're not emotionally invested, it isn't nearly as satisfying.
So do you think they were trying to jump on this and get it out there while Cobra Kai
that
disappears?
Yes, because then I read that it takes place 3 years after Cobra Kai. It makes very little sense. You know what I mean? And has all the beats, but never gets there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anybody that was asking for another Karate Kid movie, really.
Well, and I think part of that problem with asking for another Karate Kid movie is that Cobra Kai was so well received, right?
Well,
Cobra Kai.
That's Cobra Kai, right? It's
right.
Like,
well, but Cobra Kai is a legacy sequel.
Yeah, it's like a different universe.
Right. It's surpassed. You know what I mean? Like, it's a legacy sequel. It's like Ghostbusters Afterlife, right? I include them in the same. But like Cobra Kai ran for 6 seasons. You know what I mean? And the episodes are 54 minutes a piece, about 10 episodes a season. You know what I mean? You're talking about 540 minutes a season with these people for 6 seasons, and now you come out with this movie and you're trying to like it's like a bait and switch.
Yeah.
It's like a bait and switch. I feel it's like a bait and switch. So let's see. Where are we at?
Nobody asked for a Karate Kid 2 or 3 even.
No, I mean, well,
honestly, and the first one was fine, and after that it was like
3 isn't bad, right? 3 is a little bit okay. Next Karate Kid is maligned, but not as bad as everybody says it is. But it's not it's not in the original vein. First 2 Karate Kid movies, great movies, right? And this movie isn't bad. Like I said, there's a certain nostalgia bump you get off of it. It's like a nostalgia cocaine.
That's what they were looking for.
And that's what they were looking for. And also it's made on the cheap, Jerry. Only cost $45 million to make. Has already grossed 21 in the States as of today. So that includes yesterday. It's already grossed 21 in the States, 26 internationally. And that's because of Jackie Chan and Ben Wang. So it's at 47 already. So it's going to make money. But it's just not going to make Lilo and Stitch money. Like Lilo and Stitch, it's not going to make Lilo and Stitch. She did a lot of charity work after MASH. Great woman. Rest in peace, Jonathan Joss, another amazing actor. Very nice at cons. So sad with the revival just happening. Love is love is love. Being oblivious to something doesn't mean it's not happening. Doesn't mean that it shouldn't be addressed. I agree. Was watching a Star Wars Rebel marathon. How did so many people take the wrong lesson from all our sci-fi? They want to be stormtroopers in real life. How? That's a question. That goes back to Jasper. I don't know if you were on paying attention to the show the one night where I was talking to Jerry, and we were talking about. I ran into somebody who was fighting with me. I was talking about aliens somewhere, like maybe on another podcast or something, and the person said Alien lost me when it got woke. And Jerry and I were like, I was laughing about it because I'm like, I don't know if you realize, but Alien's always been woke. If you're using the word woke, the lead in Alien is Sigourney Weaver, right? I mean, all the men in that movie get killed. The company they work for are a bunch of scumbags. Like there is no way that the original Alien, and even Aliens, isn't woke. You know, like it's a crazy concept to me. And somebody said I was reading a book or I was like watching, like, and I'm like, you can get into Covenant and you can get into all the one like the Alien versus Predator movies and not like them. You can not like Alien 3 because I hate that movie with a red hot passion of 7,000 suns. But the idea that a movie where the female is the heroine and she's one of the greatest female heroines in the history of film, and also it has a company in it that's just awful to work for, apparently. Right? Every time you see a Weyland-Yutani logo on anything, you got to think somebody's getting ripped off. Somebody's getting screwed somewhere. And then you look at I watched Romulus with my cousin this past weekend over the internet, and watching together. And think about the Alien Romulus scene where the girl goes and she's like, "I did all my time, and I want to go to a different planet that has a sun." And they're like, "Well, we just doubled quotas. Get back in the fucking mines."
Yep.
You know what I mean? And Weyland-Yutani has always been that, willing to sacrifice workers for the best bioweapon in the history of the world, right?
Like Starship Troopers.
That's what I mean. Like,
do your part.
Ralph, cousin Vinny is here for you. Yeah, I mean, sure, but he's not like
he's one
Jackie
of
Chan. Jackie Chan is legit charisma. Like it's that whatever Jackie Chan has is not something that can be replicated. And I mean that for a lot of our actors too. Jackie Chan is special. He always has been. So
I saw a tribute for him where all of his assistant stuntmen in that just paid like a tribute, and they showed all the clips from all of his movies. It was pretty awesome to see, and all the time walking him out on stretchers and all that stuff.
Yeah, they asked him about like how much training did you do for Karate Kid, and he's like, "I've been training for 64 years. Why the fuck do I have to train?" The kid's good. I like the kid very much. You could build something off him. But Ralph Macchio and Chan, like, even in the facial expressions right there, one looks like a star and one is a decent actor. Is the best way to describe it. You know what I mean? Macchio is not a stuntman, Jackie. That's true. I found it very discouraging to see people leaving driving from Lilo and Stitch and the Karate Kid after Lilo and Stitch. There were so many people leaving. I thought these two would work together as a good family movie trip, but so many people leaving. Fair. That is weird. They were a double bill, Lilo and Stitch and Karate Kid. That's a good double bill. My dad would have approved of that double bill.
Yep. Maybe some of that is people don't want to stay out late anymore.
Is Chan playing the same character from his Karate Kid movie? Yes. And they do a brief introduction at the beginning of the movie that ties Mr. Miyagi and Jackie Chan's families together with a little bit of a brief clip from Karate Kid Part 2. So that's the same question. Sorry about that. I'm not as good as Kyle. I have the same problem when watching Marvel stuff, X-Men stuff, when somebody's like, "I can't believe he's gays or everything," and it's like, you've never watched comics, especially X-Men. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's a weird thing where, like, the Empire is being cheered. Not, I like Vader. He's a great villain. Not pro Empire. Like, it's just a weird thing. I'm pro rebellion. I'm Han Solo guy. You know what I mean? Like,
when Scott says to Wolverine or what says to Logan, "How do we know it's you?" And he goes, "You're a dick." He goes, "Okay."
Yeah.
I love that.
That's what I mean.
You're a dick.
We have some weird shit going on. Let's see. Met Ralph at Friendly's in Huntington, Long Island. Shortly after the Karate Kid came out, I was 8 or 9. He was a conceited ass.
I think he said.
Yeah, I think we talked about this
before.
I think we talked about that. This was also Joe Ridgely also auditioned for The Toy as well, which we've talked about in the past on the show. But like I said, I have no problem with if you like the Karate Kid. I have no problem with it. I'm not gonna lie, Jerry. If Kai was here, I was gonna come on and gloat a little bit. But I'm not going to. But I was like, in understanding the movie business for a long time, there were certain things that were in my favor, like the idea that Mission Impossible didn't lose any of the premium screens. That was enough to kick it over. Like, again, it only beat Karate Kid by a couple million, but still, I won the bet. Like, I feel good about that. Is it bad? Should I not feel? I should feel good, right?
You gotta tell him tap into that Venmo account now.
Start sending me some it's a whole dollar. I mean, it did win by 7 million, which I think you can equate probably out to all the IMAX screens it's on. It was only down 57%. Lilo and Stitch was only down 58%. I think Lilo and Stitch runs roughshod over a lot of stuff until How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, I think that's going to probably do really
I think that's going to be huge.
I think so
too. How to Train Your Dragon, like, I cannot believe the kick we are on in this house. Like, it reminds me of the kick they used to have for Ghostbusters. We are watching everything How to Train Your Dragon. We are talking about Epic Universe, How to Train Your Dragon. Train Your Dragon. How to Train Your Dragon. I want a dragon. Okay, great. We don't have dragons. Like,
you know what I mean? Dragon Slayer. Remember that movie?
Well, oh my God, Dragon Slayer is a great movie. That's a great dragon too. That's a scary dragon. They've watched bits and pieces of Dungeons and Dragons, like the new one, Honor Among Thieves. My one nephew loves the fat red dragon who can't move. He thinks he's funny, and he also may or may not have said he looks like me.
What was that movie? Was it Reign of Fire? Was that the
Reign of Fire movie? Is the Bale McConaughey movie where they find dragons under London and then they take over the goddamn world.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
That's McConaughey with the bald head and Bale as the head of the, like, he's the kid who found the eggs and then, the world goes to shit. And that's one of those movies where it's the concept is better than the rest of the movie. The concept is like the cool, like somebody finds dragon eggs and then dragons start to reproduce and they take over the world. And two guys decide they're going to take out a dragon nest. Sounds great. And then the execution isn't as cool as
kind of like the Meg.
Yeah. Like
they could have done so much better with that movie, the trailer for
that. There's a giant
instead of giving it away what it is.
It's a giant shark. Okay, what else we got?
I'm gonna kill that shark.
Without spoilers, reaction to the Doctor Who season finale. Can't do it without spoilers. I would without spoilers. It's good to have her back. It's good to have her back because she's been the best companion of all time, and now she's going to be the Doctor. It's good to have her back. Shut up, JW1. Our truth. Laugh out loud. I think this is a WWE thing, Jerry, and I'm going to say it really quick, and I'm going to say it profoundly. I wish Kyle were here. I think he would agree with me. I think this is a bad morale thing for the locker room and for fans. And I don't understand the concept of letting him go. He's 55. I know he can't wrestle anymore, maybe. But he's such a talented performer. And he was apparently so nice behind the scenes that everybody loved him. Even like everybody that worked with him loved him. The idea that you're going to let him go after his contract and not make him an agent or make him somebody that can help others get over when he's been the best comedy act in the WWE for 20 years, you know what I mean, is beyond me. 17 years, whatever it is. I think it's dumb. I think it's a bad morale thing. I think they might change their mind on him. That would be my thing on that. I didn't see it coming. I'm excited. I think that's the best I can say, right? Good to have her back. Everybody loves her. Like, if she's going to be the doctor, I have no problem with her getting a shot at being the doctor, which is cool. But is it her or the bad wolf? I'm trying not to do spoilers, Raven. Try not to do spoilers. Dragonheart, the fantasy good, the bad, and the ugly. I don't hate Dragonheart. I think Dragonheart is a very good movie for kids. It teaches good values. Because the prince is such a shit in that movie. Right? And, Bowen, and that's a really good. I don't hate Dragonheart. I like Dragonheart, actually. I don't like the 17 sequels they have that don't have Sean Connery and Dennis Quaid. But this is not going to happen. That's not going to happen. They're not going to AEW. Will Ospreay insulted everybody and said we don't want any more rejects, retreads. So, what's everyone's opinion of the new Predator flick coming out this week? Killer of Killers is what it's called. I don't know. I like the concept of putting Predators into an animated thing. I like what they're doing with the Predator franchise. I think that the last couple of Predator things have been really good. Because you got to get it away from Predator and Aliens, because because those movies are so goddamn bad. Like, they're just abysmal. Like, they're clearly trying to cash in on the love of the franchise. I think Predator 1, Predator 2, Predator is really good. Predator 2 is a decent sequel. Right, where you're trying to replace Schwarzenegger.
He did okay.
Did a good job. Plus, he has supporting.
Busey, right?
Right. He has a Predator 2 has supporting shit that helps. Gary Busey, Bill Paxton. Predator 2 is not bad. Of the newer Predator movies, the Predator one with Adrian Brody, where they're on the planet, was pretty good. Right? The Alien vs. Predator. Okay. The Alien vs. Predator movies were all terrible, though. Like, all Requiem, they're all fucking bad. And then you get to Prey, right? Prey is genius material. Like, we're going to put a Predator, and it's going to be fighting somebody in the Indian, American Southwest before it was America. That's brilliant. Yes.
It'll be cool. A Western.
It's going to be a Western, right?
Yep.
Well, the new one, Badlands, is coming out in November, right? Predator Badlands is coming out in November, and that's set somewhere in the future where we don't know what's going on, but there's one character's clearly an android. We don't know if it's a Wayland Yutani android, but it could be. So who the fuck knows what's going to happen there? But Predator Badlands, the trailer is pretty good. Although people make fun that the Predator doesn't look predatory enough, but he's supposed to be a kid predator, so I don't know what the fuck. People get their heads wrapped around things and can't, like, these franchises that are etched in our skulls, they don't want to let anybody change anything, but the only way to go forward is sometimes to revel in it, but also do things we never saw. Like, in the rewatch of Romulus with my cousin, right? There are things in Romulus that are retread things, but then there are also things in Romulus where the things have never been done before, like the Zero-G fight where she's fighting them all off, and then the acid is just drifting around is creative.
Right.
And so if you're gonna take a shot at these franchises, you got to be creative. You got to come up with new things, right? And I think Killer of Killers is great because that, it's going to be different planets. It's going to be, we know that they've interacted with all these other species. So let's see them hunting. There's a lot
you could do with that with Predator,
right? And at some point, before he passes away,
like a Predator's
I wouldn't mind
head off.
I wouldn't mind seeing Dutch. I'm just saying.
Right.
But I think it has potential. An animated Predator movie is something we've never had. We bitch, moan, and complain that we don't get new stuff. Let's see how it goes. If it's good, great. If it's as good as Prey is great. Like I've seen some people fighting about Prey, and I was just like, it was good. Like, let's trust that guy. That guy seems to know what he's doing with the franchise. I like the last one more than anyone I've had in years, so I'm interested. Yeah, Prey was great. One last thing for Doctor Who. YouTube has a few animated reconstructions of the early missing stories. Yes, by all means, go and find some of the old episodes. It's kind of cool that they're... Now, be careful if you're trying to stay away from AI stuff, because I know that some of these companies are finding old things and dabbling in AI with them. So just be careful on if you're anti-AI. Jasper, pre-finding them out, who Miss Flood was, they also dropped a lot of the old classics for free viewing on Doctor Who Classic. If you haven't subscribed to that, they have a lot of old stuff on there. Been a pre-clip back together while I'm cleaning my apartment. If I run across my old hard drive with all the old Doctor Who's on it, we'll see if I can get someone to give you a copy, but don't quote me until I find it. Fair. Do you know? Oh, shit. Oh my God. In talking about this, do you know what they just released? I don't know if anybody has Prime. I have Prime. And I just found, from a while back, from my childhood, Prime has the old Monster Show. The Monster Show is on Saturday nights, and the opening is the family coming together and eating creepy crawlers, and then the dad's like a big kind of like thing, and they're all watching their favorite show. And it was as creative a show we had, but it was a straight monster show.
I remember that.
It was a they have all the episodes, of them. And it was 1988. They were syndicated, right? So it was the kind of thing where we couldn't, it's not something where, it's not something where you like looked up and was able to like find it readily, but it was like, I think it was on Saturday nights at like 11, right? It was an anthology show.
Well, yeah, you had a TV guide. A TV guide told you when it was on.
Yeah.
Well, maybe by then we started getting the preview guide, right?
Right.
Network.
So it's now for the first time. I've seen it on Prime, and I was watching it going, holy shit.
It's 1988 again.
Well, yeah, it's like, but that show is a treasure trove. A treasure trove of really good, fun. And like, listen to the people that worked on it, Jerry, right? It was created by Richard Rubinstein, right? Richard P. Rubinstein and Michael Gollin. Theme music is done by Donald Rubinstein. So it was like, basically they were doing Tales from the Dark Side, and the rumor was Richard Rubinstein was so upset that Tales from the Dark Side got good reviews and was always focused on the stories and acting. So he shifted to this because he wanted to give makeup effects people and makeup effects the full Monty, be able to see it and be able to, like, so they made all these monster shows. And the episodes are great, Jerry. There's 72 episodes, 3 seasons, 24.
I didn't know there were that many.
24 episodes per season, but listen to the people that worked on it, right? Dick Smith, right?
Nice.
The show was produced at a budget of roughly $200,000 per episode, which was a lot of money in 1988, right? They had good writers, they had amazing people working on the show. And it's comedy. It's just like it grew out of Tales from the Dark Side, and it became like it features different monsters every week, and they're like, it's like a children's show though. It's set up as like a kid show, right? And it's just, I watched the first episode. The first episode is something called The Fever Man, and it takes place in Victorian England. And it was just, it's this episode where this guy comes and he's carrying his daughter. And I'm not going to lie, Jerry, I thought it could be what we do after Twilight Zone. Like, I thought we could go back and watch all the old monster episodes. So I watched The Fever Man. Guy brings his daughter to the slums of England, like Whitechapel district, kind of, right? And the lady's at the door. He opens the door. She asks for money and gold and silver. And he's like, I have money. And she goes, we don't take currency. We'll only take precious metals. So right off the bat, it's like, it's fucking weird. And the guy's with his doctor, who's like, I can't believe you took your daughter out of the hospital. And he's like, you have found no way to break this fever. And one of my servants told me about the Fever Man in the district. And so he comes in, and there's this guy, and he's a drunk, and it's the doctor from NCIS. It's the old doctor from NCIS who's a younger man, but he's a drunk. And he's like, take your daughter to the basement. You've given enough for the money. And, they close the doors. The gate creaks. Like they go downstairs, and, you can hear screaming and all kinds of stuff. And basically, the Fever Man says, I'm going to take the fever out of your daughter, and these creatures that are causing the fever are huge and monstrous and just awful, and you have to fight them hand to hand. And so midway through the episode, the doctor and the father break down the door and break in, and it's in the middle of the Fever Man fighting the fever. And the fever is this giant gelatinous man covered in fucking like cold sores. Just great makeup, cool concept.
Well,
right?
Dick Smith being involved,
that's what I mean. Like, just really cool concept. And and then the writing of the episode is so good where you're like, well, what's gonna happen? So the Fever Man gets knocked down, the fever jumps back into the little girl, and the Fever Man says, I'm dying, and the crystal that he uses to fight the demons basically falls on the ground, and the doctor picks it up. Right. And so like the Fever Man's outfit, right, is like the Victorian collar, but it's all dirty. And it's like, he's got the things. The doctor has to pick the crystal, Jerry. He picks up the crystal. And then the Fever Man goes, I'm dying. And the only way
he's crystal. The new Fever Man.
That's exactly right. It was so good. I was like sitting there watching it going, this is great stuff. For a 22-minute episode, this is pretty cool. And like I said, gory, like very gory graphics. You know what I mean? Like the monster was like, he was just a big fat dude with like, and he was just covered in goop and just covered in like sores and like all of it, like, pig nose and like just the cool things from my childhood where you go, I remember watching that show, and that's why I fell in love with horror movies, and like, it's a progression, right? And I was watching it. The sheer level of people involved, right? It's strictly horror. It's not like Tales from the Dark Side where it's all over the place. Most episodes feature a different monster, which was the story was concerned, and the animatronic puppet of a fictional children's television program to a mutated weapon-wielding lab rats. But also, like, do you remember, and this is a true story, this show was the first show, if you go way back, there was an episode of Monsters that dealt with Christmas. with kids being very bad and kids writing and saying they didn't love Santa Claus or something else. And the thing that shows up at the end of the episode, that episode of Monsters, I believe, is Krampus. And it was the first time I ever heard of Krampus. Do you know what I mean? Like, and
yeah,
I just,
that wasn't a thing.
That wasn't a thing until they hit. I mean, it was a thing in Germany,
right? But not here.
Stuff,
there
but
was
not
no
here.
Krampus horror movies or anything.
But like David McCallum is the guy from the Fever Man, but it's like, you know, October 22nd, 1988. So it premiered right around Halloween.
What the heck was he
in 1988? But like the name of the episodes are hilarious. Holly's House, New York Honey, The Vampire Hunter, My Zombie Lover, Where's the Rest of Me, The Legacy, Skeeping Dragon, Pool Sharks. I think I'm going to go back and rewatch a bunch of the episodes and possibly.
I'm probably going to now too.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
But like you said, I mean, we still got a lot of Twilight Zone left, but
we got to start looking for something new.
It's that or Amazing Stories or
yes. Every now and then, a tequila customer after if there's a Hellgrama in it. No, they just watched Tales from the Dark Side as a kid. YouTube has 81 episodes of Monsters. Cool.
That's awesome.
Like I said, I found it on a lark.
Well, the cool thing is
digging around.
If it is on YouTube, then everybody
can watch it.
They can
Crash
watch
76.
It. Right.
Greetings. Tubi has it also. Thank you, Ken McKernan.
Awesome.
Let's see what else we got. Hold on.
I can watch
Monsters is great. I've had all seasons for a while. It used to be on YouTube too. This is why I got into Doctor as a kid. I loved looking at those weird ass aliens going, why are we afraid of them? But totally why I like fucking plungers. Yeah. Or, you know, sonic screwdrivers. This is not true. I remember seeing old Christmas cartoons and Krampus in them, like really old stop motion cartoons. Okay, but my first it was 88. I was 14. I know that this was the first time I experienced Krampus on this show. And it was like a Christmas episode. It was like ding ding, you heard the bells, and at the end the kids realized that it's not Santa coming.
Christmas before that was Silent Night, Deadly Night.
There you go.
The Christmas horror or
Terror
Toyland.
Posted Tubi to the group. Stranger Things dates and trailer drop. Yes. Thank you. It's like having a co-host. She's so good. Of course I was going to talk about this. It is Stranger Things is dropping, right? The trailer's pretty good. A solid trailer if you haven't seen it.
His haircuts.
It cuts everything together, right? Chops up pieces of beginning and end. Every end has a beginning. The dates are going to be, for nerds, are going to be troublesome because the dates are, I believe, Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day, and New Year's Eve. So I think so it's a great birthday present for me. But Thanksgiving and Christmas are really hard days to kind of pull away from your family and veg out for however many hours this is going to be. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying I'm not going to do it. I'm just saying I think they maybe like Black Friday might have been a better.
Yeah. Well, Thanksgiving's like unless you don't like football, that's a football day.
That's a football day, but also I just think it's going to be weird binge watching Stranger Things so you don't find out what happened is going to be imperative. And I just think if you're putting it on holidays, that adds stress. Like I wouldn't mind January 2nd or, you know, the 26th of December but I know why they're doing it, but I also think it's going to hurt the binging. Because I know on Christmas, I might not get to it until like Christmas night, like after dinner. You know what I mean? Like, because think about it. We have a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old nephew. So we're gonna be up at 6, right? We're gonna be up at 6
before that.
We're gonna be up at 6 in the morning, and we're gonna be going all day, and then dinner, and then it's just I don't know that it's as smart as they think it is, right? But I think everybody's excited about Stranger Things. Also, this poster came out spring 2026, Super Mario World. Let's see, what else we got. Oh my goodness. Okay. I would point out, JW, that you're very much older than me, Laughing. We talked about this last week. Yes, I understand that. We did talk about it last week.
No need to bring it up.
There's no need to point it out to a bunch of people watching the show. Also,
we know how old we are.
Yeah, we know how old we are. Also, I don't know what that means. I know people are younger people maybe don't have Christmas stuff to do or what, but I don't see how it doesn't impact the binging at least a little bit. If that's what you're talking about, but me being old, I don't know. I don't know what that means. About 10 years ago, the Delaware Rocky Horror could get a picture taken with Krampus at Christmas time. Cool. And then Joe, not only does Raven call me old, but then Joe goes, Raven just called JW old. Ha 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 ha. Fucker, you're not that younger. You're not that much younger.
Not really.
Not really.
2 years younger than me, I think.
Wasn't thrilled with the Stranger Things trailer. I think they're going back. Like, it's 5 seasons. They have to get as much nostalgia out of it. I think the bigger problem for the Stranger Things folks is the date, the release dates. Releasing on holidays, I think, is a mistake. Also, like, you're not even taking
near holidays when you have time off.
Yes,
right on the day itself.
Right on the day itself is a little bit crazy. Also, and I know this is something that I do, and maybe not everybody else does, but I go to the movies on Christmas. So Christmas Day is a movie day for me. You know what I mean? So the idea that I might have to stay home to watch Stranger Things, or do I go see whatever the new, like, for example, last year Nosferatu opened on Christmas, right? It's a very, I'm not saying I'm not going to watch Stranger Things immediately, but I'm saying I might not be able to watch it immediately. If you understand what I'm saying. How many? Hold on. I was literally been watching Doctor Who Special on Chris for years. Get over this, people. This is all about generation watching. I said exactly what this is. No. Doctor Who Christmas specials are another thing where that's a tradition. Like, Stranger Things isn't. So, Raven, if there's a Doctor Who Christmas special and Stranger Things, you're watching both, right? But if you have, like, I don't know that that's going to be feasible for everyone. I may be wrong about this. Maybe it's so good we find a way. How many remember shows stating filmed in color white, black and white TV? Well, that was a way to get people to buy color TVs, Jasper. I don't remember that though.
Color.
I will tell you, I stripped the dial on one of my parents' TVs when I was a kid. I'm just flipping the channels.
Oh no, the top one.
I stripped the dial. Yeah, the top one. Yeah, it was bad. Oh. Fucking bad.
Yeah, because that's you had to put that one on you in order to get 28, 38. Well, 38 came later. Channel 9, 11.
Oh, interesting. And that's interesting. That is an interesting. Yeah, Channel 11. Yes, Channel 11
and 9, 11 and 9, right?
Yeah,
they had movies on those stations, really.
WPIX and WWOR. WPIX on Christmas Day always used to run March of the Wooden Soldiers, right? Like Laurel and Hardy. What was later referred to as Babes in Toyland. But
I used to watch the 3D movies on there too. They always had 3D movies on.
And WWOR also had, like, at the time in the late 80s, they had Benny Hill, they had
Monty Python,
the Morton Downey Jr. show.
Oh yeah, I watched that.
The first of the truly trash television shows. See, here's the thing. I don't know if I could say that about Stranger Things because it's been stretched out so long time. Kids watching the show. I've literally started watching beginning their junior high years and now seniors. Simply say it because there's an actress supposed to be like playing 12 or 13-year-olds literally graduating this year in the show. Okay, so she's come on to yell at us. Let's find out what's wrong. Raven, what do you want?
What's the matter with you?
Why are you calling
No, I'm
me
just
old?
saying that I kind of look at it as Stranger Thing has kind of become generational viewing now because of how long they've stretched out the show.
Sure, but still, Doctor Who is generational viewing too.
Well,
My problem with the release dates is that it's going to coincide with a lot of other stuff that's going on at the time. And Netflix.
What is it? It's Thanksgiving Eve, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, right?
No, it's New Year's Eve, Christmas Day. Hold on. Stranger Things drop dates. Hold on. We'll get it set for the entire show. And thanks for joining us, Raven. Also, thanks for calling me old. I really...
You are.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm old too.
Not yet.
I'm in my 40s. I'm old now.
I'm sorry. I made a mistake. 4 episodes on November 26th. So Black Friday. Or is that Thanksgiving Day?
26th. That's Thanksgiving Day, right?
That's
I don't know. I don't
rough.
celebrate.
November 26th. Hold on.
No, that's a Wednesday. That's probably Eve.
Yeah, it's Christmas. It's Thanksgiving Eve, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, isn't it?
No, it is. Okay, so it is 4 episodes on November 26th, 3 episodes on Christmas, and the final episode on New Year's Eve.
I will say they're really stretching it out for 3.
Each volume releases at 5 p.m. Pacific time, so 8 o'clock. For global release times, keep scrolling to find out the final season.
Okay.
So
I will say Doctor Who's usually in the afternoon. It's not usually at night.
Yeah, but football is gonna be tough to like. It's gonna be a real tough day.
But I'm not a sports person whatsoever, so that doesn't bother me.
Yeah, no, I know it doesn't bother you. It bothers the shit out of me though. I got fantasy football teams and stuff to deal with.
Isn't that like D&D with sports?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
Don't touch that dial, but if you have a dial, time to get a new TV. Stephen Colbert. You're all babies. Cool. I'm not a millennial.
I'll take it.
I'll
take the baby.
Wait a second. Stop. There is not a millennial to be had in our audience, nor is there a millennial to be had on the show.
I'm in that weird group between millennial and like X, whatever that is.
Yeah, we're Gen X.
I'm not.
I know, but I am Gen X. I know he is.
Yeah, you're definitely Gen X, definitely. Kyle's definitely Gen X. Jerry, you're Gen X.
I grew up watching Reality Bites, for fuck's sake. I am definitely Gen X.
I did too, but I'm like right at that ass end.
Yeah.
What, I watched The Hitchhiker Dream On HBO. So did you.
So did I. Yeah. Dream On was a very good show for a very long time for me.
I'm still trying to find it.
The other, since you're bringing up trailers and release dates, one of the things that's coming out on Christmas Day is the Frankenstein revival. Guillermo del Toro.
I love Del Toro.
It looks really good. It looks dark and wonderful. Somebody said, I want to give all the Oscars to Frankenstein. And I'm like, hold on. This movie, which, by the way, is still viable as a Best Picture nominee in my book, and also drops today on streaming if you want to watch it.
It's amazing.
It's the best movie I've seen in almost 10 years. So, and I mean that in the best possible way. Like, I love
We have some really good vampire stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
Season 3 of Interview the Vampire just started doing its production. If you live in Canada and you play any instruments, they are looking for people to be in Lestat's band right now, especially if you play obscure instruments.
Jerry could be a vampire. Well, you speak of other vampire shows. This young girl's about to
Buffy?
become the new Slayer. She was on Skeleton Crew. Pretty cool.
I'm kind of hoping that they bring in like Eliza Dushku. Would be really great to see.
It would be
also
great to see her
included in
back.
that.
I would like Charisma Carpenter to get a fair shot as well.
Yeah,
since
definitely.
since we're trying to pay people back for past
I
sins.
don't think we're going to see Xander. I don't think that's happening. Can't definitely think Allison Hannigan's Willow going to definitely be in the show.
You can see Hannigan, maybe Alexis Denisov, and maybe Giles going out on a
Oh yeah, I definitely see Anthony Stewart Head definitely stopping in to do something
to get murdered by somebody.
Oh, absolutely.
I heard a great concept if they follow through on it. They already have their overarching villain if they want to keep it. Right? They could do the first evil and just have the first evil having the reason we're getting the reboot is because the first evil has been working for 20 years setting up their pawns on a chessboard to take out Buffy. I like that idea. I like that concept. I like the idea that the first evil is primordial. It thrives off of the the New Nightmare basic, I live because there's a story about me. You know what I mean? Like it would be good. It would be good for this generation. Okay, you're here. Would you like to stick around for It Came From Jerry's Basement and Twilight Zone?
Sure.
Sweet. Okay. Jerry, what do you got coming from your basement this week?
This week's movie is
hold on.
Jack's Back.
Jack's Back. Where can people find Jack's Back?
Jack's Back can be found on Tubi. And this is a James Spader movie.
Oh yeah, no. James Spader's great. He got nominated for a Saturn Award for this movie. It was very low budget. But it's a wonderful little movie. It's basically a serial killer in 1988 Los Angeles starts recreating Jack the Ripper's crimes on the 100th anniversary. It has a good cast. It's directed by Rowdy Harrington. If you're a Rowdy Harrington fan, Jack's Black, Roadhouse.
I'm a bit out of it today. I've been working. That guy looks like somebody I know from some 80 movie, but I cannot place him. So
that's easy. So the answer would be Pretty in Pink.
Okay. Yeah. Oh God.
The answer would be Pretty in Pink, and therefore, how do I say this to you, Raven? You're fucking old too.
I would like to point out that I have been working for 2 days straight.
I don't care. I don't care.
I couldn't have named him. All I was like some 80s
movie. A reference point is Pretty in Pink. You're old, sweetheart. You're old.
I know I'm old. I'm in my 40s.
Okay.
Well, you know what else though? Some Kind of Wonderful.
Some Kind of Wonderful too.
Okay.
Also, Less Than Zero. Like he sex lies and videotape. It could be any movie from the 80s, really. Spader was around. Wasn't he also supposed to be? Now I'm just trying to link people.
Wasn't he supposed to be Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future first?
No.
Wasn't him. Who's that?
Right?
That was Eric Stoltz. Eric Stoltz.
Yeah, no, that would have been completely different.
Some Kind of Wonderful. Yes, because Michael J. Fox couldn't get out of his contract for Family Ties.
Let's be honest. It would have been a completely different movie. Those had two different acting styles.
Wait, what were you saying, Jerry?
This is a selling point for this movie. Yeah, I love reading some of these. It's short. It says, how come Jack's back? The police are stumped. The hookers are scared. And the only man with a chance of solving the crimes has a problem of his own. He's the number one suspect.
We should make a new game where you take those and now write them in now, like how PC-ified they would have became. Because they would never have said hookers. It would have been sex workers.
Right?
And I'm all for sex work, but they would never have said it that way on here.
But there's something nice about a box where the hookers are scared.
The hookers are scared.
And the hookers are scared, and the doctors
are movie Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers.
Yeah, no. But this is a pretty good
That's
movie.
how old
That
I
got,
am.
yeah, we were talking about it. It had a very small budget, but it had a good crowd. Rowdy Harrington is the director of this movie. Rowdy Harrington is an underrated 80s director. He's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Movies on his list. Jack's Back was his first movie. He directed Roadhouse, Gladiator, the Cuba Gooding one, not Russell Crowe. He also directed Striking Distance, A Murder of Crows, The Stick Up, Eyewitness. So he made some decent movies in the 80s. And this movie basically is a whodunit. It's a little bit like Jennifer 8, where it's like things are happening where you don't know why they're happening. James Spader plays two different characters. That's a little bit of a spoiler. It's on Tubi. Cynthia Gibb is in it. Robert Picardo. And basically it's a Jack the Ripper movie without being British or having Jack the Ripper in it. But it's fun. It's a fun little movie.
Time After Time.
Time After Time is the best Jack the Ripper movie. Like
That movie's awesome.
Time After Time is the greatest single concept of a movie. It's one of my favorite all-time concepts. Like H.G. Wells makes the time machine. Cool. He's best friends with a doctor who's also Jack the Ripper. Cool. Jack the Ripper comes to a dinner party, finds out about the time machine, steals the time machine. Also cool. And then there's an amazing sequence when they go, H.G. Wells goes after him. And there's an amazing sequence in the hotel, Jerry. The hotel sequence.
Yeah.
It's so good.
What movie is this?
It's called Time After Time. And it's basically H.G. Wells, creator of the time machine, jumping through time to chase Jack the Ripper through time.
Anywhere that is located?
Where to watch? Hold on. Where to watch the movies of my dreams?
Amazon, Apple TV, Fandango.
Rental everywhere. YouTube.
Amazon.
That should definitely get it on the Halloween list for this year. That sounded real good.
I can't put it on my Halloween list because I've seen it a lot of times. There's an amazing sequence in a hotel room where he tracks in the hotel room and Jack the Ripper is sitting there and he's completely adapted to 1980 San Francisco, and he sits on the bed with the remote control and he motions H.G. Wells to sit down next to him, played by Roddy McDowall, and he sits down and he turns on the television and it's just violence, waves of violence, and he's like, H.G., this is my time. I belong here. These people understand me. Like, it's fucking crazy.
Cool,
it's
right?
Great. It's got Mary Steenburgen in it too. She's fantastic. She's amazing. Let's see. We got comments. Hold on. Gen X. Lizzie Kitty says nice. We have stories about Xander. Crazy interview. He was a bit. Yeah, it wasn't good. Stargate.
Yes, Stargate. That's a good one, too.
To get ready for Frankenstein. I think for Frankenstein, Frankenhooker's okay, but I think I'm gonna really do a heady rewatch of all the Universal monster movies because I rewatched The Invisible Man after going to Epic Universe, and The Invisible Man was great. It wasn't just good; it was fantastic.
Gotta have Kyle on because me, him, and Ka, and we went to the drive-ins, and Missy saw Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein for the first time last year.
Oh, nice!
Which was hysterical.
Oh, Elsa Lanchester. Ooh, so good.
Roadhouse. Time
After Time, also on YouTube. Yeah, highly recommended. And now we come to my favorite part of the show I love more than anything. I'm going to point this out. This is a great episode. We also got a badge from a Twilight Zone fan group that apparently is watching our stuff.
Oh wow!
Which is nice.
That's pretty cool.
So JW, I
yes.
think you should get a tattoo once you finish watching it all.
Okay, maybe.
Really?
I don't have any.
No,
tattoos.
I just think because it's show that means so much to you, even if it's a small tattoo.
But I've never gotten a tattoo in my life.
Which would be a great way to
but I don't
pop that cherry.
You have to get a tattoo that when you scan it plays the theme.
Oh, that would be cool.
That would be cool.
But okay, so Twilight Zone Redux. The episode tonight is a little episode we call 100 Yards Over the Rim. Okay. Here, I got all these windows open. Hold on, give me a second. Get rid of Karate Kid Legends because it'll be out of theaters in a week. Let's see, 100 Yards Over the Rim, episode 59. It is episode 23 of season 2, directed by Buzz Kulik, written by Rod Serling himself. Opening narration.
Good episode.
It premiered, April 7th, 1961. Year is 1847. The place is the territory of New Mexico. The people are a tiny handful of men and women with a dream. 11 months ago, they started out from Ohio and headed west. Someone told them about a place called California and about a warm sun and a blue sky, about rich land and fresh air. And at this moment, almost a year later, they've seen nothing but cold, heat, exhaustion, hunger, and sickness. This man's name is Christian Horn. He has a dying 8-year-old son and a heartsick wife. And he's the only one remaining who even has a fragment of the dream left. Chris Horn, who's going over the top of the room to look for water and sustenance. And in a moment, we'll move into the Twilight Zone. So it's this wagon train settlement. It's these people that they're braving the outdoors. They're struggling.
They're in a desert.
You can see a young John Astin here, by the way. Also, if you're fans of the Addams Family or some episodes of Batman where he was the Riddler. But it's Cliff Robertson, who is a great actor, like has starred in so many things where you just go, yes, good actor, great actor. And so basically he goes over the rim, and when he goes over the rim, he's looking for water.
They all want to stop, right? His whole cavalry wants to stop, but he's like, we have to go on. And he's like, I just want to go 100 yards over that rim to see what's there.
Right, he takes his rifle, but when he does, he walks into 1961 New Mexico, right?
Yep, and
so
he's from
telephone poles.
1847.
Yeah, it's a time travel story, right? Like we were talking about. Is this? Wait, where did Raven go? Why did you disappear? Why did you get out?
I opened a window.
Not okay. Why'd you? Okay.
She went into the Twilight Zone for a minute.
You left for the Twilight Zone. Okay, I'm sending you.
Yeah, I left into the Twilight Zone. I'm back now.
On her end, it was 3 hours. On our end, it was like 7.
Yeah, it was 7 minutes. So he walks over. He eventually, he meets these people who are from 1961. They ask about his old-fashioned clothes. They ask about, antique rifle. They don't believe his story, though, and they basically consider him mentally unstable. They get a doctor. He comes and checks on him. Doctor finds him rational, and give him. The only thing that makes him seem crazy is the story. And then he finds an encyclopedia containing a brief biological entry for Christian Horn Jr., MD, who did great work with children's disease in late 19th century California. Horn concludes that this is his son, right? And then he believes that he's been brought to this place in 1961 to save him. So he takes penicillin back, and he runs back toward the rim. The sheriff and Joe, they go after him, right? And he drops the rifle before scrambling back over the rim. And once he does, he sees the wagon train where he had left. He looks back over the rim, and the territory is unsettled again. So he's gone to get penicillin. Seemingly, the universe has found a way for him to save his son, who will eventually save thousands of people in settler California.
He shot himself accidentally when he almost got hit by the truck, and the wife of the diner owner gave him the penicillin to help with his arm, and he's like, "What's this? This will cure everything.
This will cure everything."
Oh well, and that's what sparked it in his head.
Then they tell the woman that gave him the medicine that he disappeared, and then all they found was a Horn's rifle on the ground, where he dropped it right before he went over the rim again. and looking at it, they see it. It's been exposed for 100 years
old now. It's all decrepit and
right.
rusty.
And so the closing narration is Mr. Christian Horn, one of the hardy breed of men who headed west during a time when there were no concrete highways or the solace of civilization. Mr. Christian Horn, family and party, heading west after a brief detour to the Twilight Zone. So it's a time travel episode that basically sets up the idea. He finds the encyclopedia and then he has to finish the loop, right? And that's one of the things about the Twilight Zone that is great.
To cure his son, and his son went on.
And his son goes on to save people, right? To perform medicine and save people. So Cliff Robinson, one of the fun things about the production, they filmed on Route 395. And they call it, like, it's also the place where they filmed Third from the Sun. It's also the place, this distinctive area is also the place, Jerry, where they filmed Tremors, Bug, and Iron Man.
Is this the Star Trek mountain?
No, it's a different area. It's not that area. But it is Tremors.
Big Bang Pot Brownie episode?
No. Just Tremors and Iron Man.
I call them graboids.
And Cliff Robinson picked out his own shirt. He picked out his whole outfit. His outfit is really, if you look at it in the pictures, it's really unique. Why are you laughing? He picked out his own outfit and
graboids. I'm sorry.
That's what they're called.
I know that.
And it's, and I always love when Serling gets in the middle of the scenes. Right?
Yeah, that was a good touch for this season.
It's always a good touch. And it's a great episode. So we have a few episodes left, not a lot in season 2. Next week's episode is one of the all-time classics. Next week's episode is the Rip Van Winkle Caper. Episode 60 of the Twilight Zone and episode 24, season 2. It is a great episode. It has got highlights that are Treasure of the Sierra Madre-ish. So if you're a fan of that movie. And last thing tonight before we go, a bunch of things happen. We're going to talk about Predators, but we already talked about it. 2 movies opening this week that I think are going to do well. Phoenician Scheme is in limited release, but Wes Anderson movies tend to do well, and this one has a bang-a-rang cast.
It's a great cast, but that you can say that about every Wes Anderson movie. And I love Wes Anderson.
But
I liked Astronaut City, but
yeah, but I don't know that everybody's going to like it. The movie that's going to do very well and is going to take premium places is this movie right here. Anna de Armas, Ballerina from the world of John Wick. And there's a lot of fighting going on right now with people part of the movie saying we shouldn't be called a spinoff. We should just be called John Wick 5 because we feel we would have made more money that way. And I'm like, look, everybody knows Wick's in it, so you're going to get the benefit.
True, but if they had called it John Wick, they would have been yelling at it was a bait and switch.
Yeah, bait and switch is in the. Again, he's in. We know he's in it for at least a sequence of events. So people are going to go, and this will be the weekend where Mission Impossible falls out of the top 2. I don't think Ballerina beats Stitch, but I could be wrong about that in its 3rd week.
And then Dragon will take it all over.
And then Dragon, How to Train Your Dragon next week looks great. Raven, you got anything to promote?
Yeah, actually. Thursday, I'm going to see Natural Born Killers at the Mahoning Drive-In on 33mm, which is amazing. If anybody lives in the area, they play a lot of 35mm older movies. Also, the Sweet Translucent Dreams had a Pride show in Emmaus on June 14th at 9:30 at the Emmaus Theater. So, still out there kicking all these years later.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, well, okay. I'm not doing it. I support the casts these days. I retired. Stay retired.
You retired? Okay.
Oh yeah, I just help.
Jerry, everybody in that cast is retired.
Hey, I sent you something in Messenger.
What?
I don't know if you can pop it up. I sent you a flyer. That's our upcoming event. I made that flyer today.
You made that flyer? You're just like making flyers?
Yeah, I have Photoshop.
Well, what is the flyer for?
It's for our show that
while
we have
I'm
July 19th. It's been a little while, but it's our anniversary show that we have every
July 19th
at the V Spot.
Jesus.
Yep.
I'm taking longer than I should.
It's
Give
our
me a second.
27th year anniversary show.
I don't know where the fuck I put it. Okay. So I usually the way just so people know how I do photos, I usually do LN Slapjaw 1, right? Or LN Slapjaw 2.
There it is.
40 watts. Saturday, July 19th, the V Spot.
With Drowning Kelly, 40 watt, and the Functional Idiots, our friends from New Jersey.
So awesome. Slapjaw, okay, cool.
We'll keep that in mind. Shout out the drive-in again because they still have tickets available. If anybody is a fan of Mystery Science Theater, it is their Mystery Science Theater event for the year. Joel Honig and Jonah Ray will be there. So,
oh my goodness, when is that?
That is this weekend. They still have tickets. It is Saturday and Sunday. Come on out. They have great pop-up tents and different arts and crafts being sold as well. And
you should, when you go and talk to them, you should talk to them about maybe coming on and talking to us.
I will try to talk to Virgil Thursday when I'm there. How about that?
And I know we've had people that, we could come on and we could talk about some of the things. I would love to do a loud nerdy where Jerry and I program and I take a trip up and we go and we hang out at the drive-in for the weekend.
I would love to introduce you guys. Virgil's a really great guy.
That would be really cool.
New owner.
But thank you so much. Well, let's do comments and then we're out of here. Let's see. Ooh, where did we leave off?
Hold on.
Where did we leave off? Let's see. I think nice. Tattoo. It's a cookbook. We haven't gotten to that episode yet. I can't wait for that episode. It's one of my. It has Richard Keel in it. It's one of my favorite episodes. I think tattoos are awesome with meaning behind them. Yeah. No, I'm not against tattoos. I just haven't.
Oh yeah, we're all gonna get on you now to get one. Come on.
Jerry's fingering his neck. There, he's always doing that. If you're paying attention, Doctor, how do we know he didn't invent the
I can't help. I have to fidget.
Cool.
It's better than fidgeting.
Okay, well that's it. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see everybody next week. We'll hope to get back to Kyle. I'll still gloat next week though, a little bit. I mean,
who won the number wise?
Oh,
because I know I lowballed it badly.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't lowball it badly. Just so we're clear, if we're finishing up, Lilo and Stitch had 61 million. Mission Impossible had 27.2 million for a grand total of 122 now. Lilo and Stitch is at 278. Karate Kid Legends, third place, 20.3. So it beat Mission Impossible, beat it by 7 million. And it's at 20 million total. Final Destination.
I actually said like 21 or 20.
I said 25.
I went low. I know I went really low, but I don't like karate movies.
But I don't
like 15.
Raven, I don't know if you know this about me. I
like turtles that are karate movies.
I understand, but I don't like being right all the time. Sometimes I would like to be wrong.
Oh, stop.
I love that he's like this is to me this is banter between siblings, like 100%.
I hate to be right all the time with my cool. By the way, this is the coolest thing ever. This is an actual functional binoculars on the cup. They come off.
What is it?
It's a Mission Impossible. It's a Mission Impossible cup. Look. Mission Impossible cup. And then it came with binoculars.
That could have been like a Johnny 5.
Every time I see these popcorn buckets, I just shake my head. They're just so...
They're amazing! I would have killed to have this stuff at Endless Mountains.
Now they should have made a Short Circuit one, because that's what it reminded me.
It did look like Short Circuit. I was thinking Wall-E.
He does look a little like Wall-E.
Right? Well, Wall-E looks like...
but see, now that we're saying that Disney's already in the background going, this is how we have to do it for Wall-E.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Everybody have a great week. We'll see everybody next week. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for popping in, Raven. We appreciate you. Have a
No
good night.
problem.
Stay
Always.
safe.